It started with a whisper. I was sipping my morning coffee when I got the email, subject line, urgent, HR request for immediate meeting. My stomach tightened. I'd been with the company for 9 years. Head of client strategy. The one they turned to when things got hard. But that morning, I was the problem. I sat across from a stiff-faced HR manager and my boss, Darren. He couldn't even meet my eyes. We've received serious allegations about your behavior, Noah, HR said. What allegations? I asked, heart pounding. They wouldn't say. Just vague mentions of toxic leadership, intimidation, and ethical concerns. No evidence. No chance to defend myself. And then the blow, effective immediately, you are terminated. My world shattered. I had mentored Darren from his intern days. I was the one who vouched for him when others thought he wasn't ready. And now, he couldn't even look at me as they escorted me out. My name is Noah Carter. 41. A strategist by trade, a builder by heart. I don't mean homes, I mean people, ideas, futures. I worked my way up from nothing. I knew what it was like to eat dinner straight from a vending machine while drafting a proposal. My rise was slow, steady, earned. When I met Darren, he was lost, brilliant but insecure. I taught him how to lead, how to listen, how to be seen. I treated him like a brother. I shared everything with him. My insights, my trust, even my vulnerabilities. I never saw the knife coming. Hindsight is cruel clarity. After the firing, I replayed every interaction with Darren like a crime scene investigator examining security footage. The lunches we shared, the late-night calls, the boardroom negotiations, were they always this hollow? Or had something shifted when I wasn't paying attention? I remembered one meeting vividly. A top-tier client had personally requested me. Darren smiled, but the tension in his jaw gave him away. They should really learn to trust our whole team, he said. I brushed it off. I thought he was just venting. But now I saw it. That wasn't annoyance. That was resentment. What had I missed? The fake encouragement. The clipped congratulations. I had let loyalty blind me. I had mistaken envy for awkwardness. I had fed him tools to cut me down. And the truth that haunted me the most. Part of me knew. But I didn't want to believe it. I first heard the rumor from a former coworker, whispered over a hesitant phone call. Noah, I don't know how to say this, but people are saying you were planning to poach clients. That you had your own firm in secret. What? That's not true, I said, voice cracking. I know. But Darren's been suggesting things. It was a gut punch. Not just because it was a lie, but because people believed it. Darren had taken vague suspicions and spun them into something toxic. He didn't come at me directly. He planted ideas. I heard he's starting something new. I wonder why he's been meeting with that investor. He poisoned the thread of my reputation with quiet sabotage, letting doubt fester until it unraveled everything I'd built. I named it Nova Strategy, a nod to rebirth, a light that burns brighter after collapse. I leased a corner in a shared co-working space. My desk was a recycled table. My team was just me. My first client was a family-run bakery struggling with marketing. I poured everything I had into them, strategy, branding, digital presence. When their sales doubled, they cried. And I cried too. Word spread. Slowly at first, then faster. One startup led to another. One client recommended 3 more. My calendar began to fill. Darren had tried to bury me. Instead, he gave me the dirt to grow. I kept hearing whispers. A client would mention how they left Darren's firm because the leadership was too chaotic. A former coworker reached out, hesitantly asking if I had room on my team. Turns out, Darren's empire was cracking. His charm wore thin. Clients noticed. Team morale plummeted. The people he stepped on to get ahead were starting to rise, and he was left standing on quicksand. I could have pounced. Could have leaked the truth, burned his name, laughed as he sank. But I didn't. I just kept building. Quiet. Steady. clean. And that silence. It was louder than any revenge. One rainy Thursday, I hit a milestone, my 10th active client. I sat in my tiny office with takeout noodles and a heart full of disbelief. I wasn't just surviving, I was thriving. And then, my phone buzzed. Darren Harrison. Subject: I owe you a conversation. I stared at it. My hands trembled. He was reaching out. And I wasn't sure if I was ready. We met at a neutral spot, an old cafe we both used to love, before everything turned sour. He looked different. Not older, exactly. Just worn down. The fire in his eyes had turned to smoke. I know you don't owe me anything, he began. But I needed to face you. I needed to admit what I did. I didn't say anything. I fed the rumor, he continued. I let people believe things. I didn't lie outright, but I wanted you gone. And I made it happen. There it was. The confession. The truth that haunted me, finally spoken aloud. And yet, it didn't bring the rush I expected. It just made me feel tired. He told me everything. How he had always felt overshadowed. How he thought getting me out of the way would earn him the spotlight. How it didn't. I thought I'd feel powerful, he said. But all I felt was empty. I looked at him, not as a villain, but as a scared man who made a cowardly choice. And I saw something else, too: regret. I don't expect forgiveness, Darren said. But I had to say it. I took a breath. You're right, I replied. You don't deserve it. He nodded, eyes down. But I'm giving it to you anyway. Forgiveness isn't about approval. It's about letting go. Letting go of the rage. The obsession. The need for validation. The craving for revenge. Darren didn't become a better man that day. But I became a freer one. Because in that moment, I stopped carrying his mistake like it was mine. I let it go. And it was the most powerful thing I'd ever done. Before we parted ways, he handed me a letter. A formal statement, clearing my name, admitting his role, offering public apology. I understand if you want to publish it, he said. I folded the letter and tucked it into my jacket. Maybe, I replied. But I don't need to anymore. I walked out of that cafe not as the man who was fired over a rumor, but as the man who built something stronger from the ashes. Today, Nova Strategy is one of the fastest growing consultancies in the region. We don't just help businesses, we help people heal broken cultures, rebuild teams, lead with integrity. I don't chase revenge. I chase impact. Because real strength isn't in destroying your enemies. It's in rising so high, their lies can't reach you anymore. And the best part? I sleep peacefully at night. Not because I won. But because I let go. In the weeks after my firing, the world went quiet. I called coworkers, people I had mentored, trained, protected. Straight to voicemail. I messaged my old assistant to check in. No reply. I bumped into an old client at a grocery store. She smiled stiffly, muttered, "I hope everything works out," and turned away. The silence screamed louder than any accusation. I wasn't just unemployed, I was radioactive. No one wanted to be seen with me, let alone risk their position to defend me. My apartment, once a place of peace, felt like a cell. I sat in the dark for hours, staring at the wall. Betrayal wasn't just an emotional wound, it was a theft of identity. I didn't know who I was anymore without my career. And worst of all, I couldn't stop wondering if I deserved it. I spiraled. I drank too much. I didn't shower for days. My phone buzzed with bills, spam, nothing that mattered. One night, I scrolled through old emails, performance reviews, client praises, team kudos. Proof that I wasn't what they said I was. Then I found an old selfie of me and Darren, grinning after a big win, arms around each other like brothers. I stared at it for a long time, then hurled my phone across the room. The hate burned hot. I imagined confronting him, shaming him in front of the team, tearing him down with receipts and revenge. But hate didn't fix my bank account. It didn't restore my name. So I stopped dreaming about revenge. and started thinking about rebuilding. Rock bottom was strangely freeing. I had nothing left to prove. No title, no expectations. Just a man, bruised and bleeding, with nowhere to go but up. I pulled out my old laptop. Slow, scratched, and loyal. I opened a blank document and typed, "Who are you now?" The answer wasn't clear. But I wrote anyway. I mapped out the kind of company I wished I'd worked for. One built on respect, not fear. One where leaders weren't insecure shadows, but steady anchors. One where no one's voice got lost to rumors. It was just an idea. But it was mine. And for the first time in months, I felt the weight in my chest begin to lift.